Hello and welcome to the Low Code Podcast. I'm Faraz Khan from iTrack, and we are the global specialists in OutSystems recruitment. With this podcast, our aim is to increase awareness and appreciation of OutSystems and its impact and benefits to the market, and our early adoption is giving competitive edge to businesses worldwide. During our podcast, myself and my colleague Sushil Chauhan will be speaking to IT leaders and OutSystems MVPs on how OutSystems has transformed their businesses and careers. We also hope that by speaking to MVPs on their career journeys, we can inspire developers from all over the world to learn from others who have already been on the path. So let's go. Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Low Code Podcast. Today my guest is OutSystems MVP Nikhil Gaur from Rajasthan, India. Hi Nikhil.
Hi Firoz.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Thank you.
That's good.
How about you?
Yeah, I'm great. Thanks. Thanks for taking the time to talk to us.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure.
Like I mentioned, it looks like you got a very nice background there.
Yeah. This virtual one. So since last more than 1 year, we all are in virtual office.
Yeah,
this is one of that.
Everyone can pick and choose what they want to put as their background, isn't it?
Yeah. Earlier we did not have that privilege, but yeah, now we have.
Yeah, of course. Great. Well, it'd be good to kind of, we tend to start off with, talking a bit about yourself, your background, a little bit about you. It'd be good to hear that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So basically, I started my, IT journey. I will start with my IT journey, then
Sure.
it will, go forward then.
Yeah.
So I started my IT journey in 2005 when I started my engineering. So that was the first time when I, got introduced to programming, then all those technical stuff. Before that, I didn't have any exposure to these kind of platforms. So after doing my engineering, during engineering in India, most of the times students used to learn C++, those kind of, very high level languages.
Sure.
So once I completed my engineering, that was 2009. Then I got my first job, and that was actually in .NET. So I used to work on specifically .NET and other Microsoft related technologies which were linked to .NET.
Yeah.
So this is how my journey started. This was a startup that time, and the company I did my first job. The company name was Renosys.
Yeah.
So I started, and by chance, I was the first person who was working in that technology in the company. So in the beginning of the career, in my beginning of the career, I got exposure to know how we can build a practice in the company, how to build a complete team from scratch. So that was really good learning, and that thing helped me when I started working on OutSystems. Mm-hmm. So fast forward to 2017. That was the first time when I got introduced to low-code platforms. Mm-hmm. So OutSystems was the one which I was also interested to learn, and also decided by the company that we should go into that. So again, I got chance to start
be one of the first
scratch,
guys,
building the practice in the company. So in beginning I was the only one who started with this platform. I really liked how we should we used to work on this platform. Mm. And I also remember that time when I started working on OutSystems, then I got to recall those memories when in my early career I used to think that instead of writing everything with our hand, there should be some tool that we can just draw the flow chart and code is automatically generated, those sort of stuff. So that time I didn't get to know about this, but when I got to know, it was quite a fun. It was a nice journey, starting from 2017 till 2021. Almost more than 4 years. I worked with Renosys. We started practice, build a team, started pitching to the clients.
Yeah.
In the beginning, definitely it was a bit difficult because when we build a new practice, it is difficult to convince client that we can do this in the platform. Mm-hmm. But with time we got few projects. Then after getting first project, it was like you can call it a chain reaction.
Sure. You've got something to show other customers.
Yeah. So other enterprise could see, I mean, how we are performing with the other OutSystem clients. We can show those case studies, and then it was like quite easy. And in the beginning, when we started working on the first project, even in that case, the same client, before completing the first project, they started giving us few more opportunities. So that automatically gives us more inspiration and more motivation to
Keep
go
going,
further.
Yeah, sure.
So it really helped that time. And though I didn't have that much experience in OutSystem that time, but I used my previous experience with other platforms, so that helped me. And with time, one thing I always tell everybody, whoever want to learn OutSystem, I ask them, you don't need to learn everything either in a one-to-one training or in a boot camps are there, but those are not necessary, because OutSystems has their online course and their complete structure very well documented and structured. So I also went through the same structure. I also asked everyone to go through that, and that helped us to reach where we are
today. Okay. And in 2017, when was it the Renesas who decided, okay, we're gonna build a OutSystems practice? So prior to that, had you heard of OutSystems?
So it was not that we decided to go with OutSystem directly. We were evaluating various low-code platforms to see which one is better and which platform should be our starting point.
Sure.
So that time I was the one, along with my other team members, we were evaluating. There were many like Mandates, OutSystems, then there were Power Apps, Appian. So we were going through that. Then after our comparison and doing detailed study and discussion with all the partners involved, technical team, sales team, business team, then we decided for the OutSystems. Okay, so this is how we went through that. Before that, I never heard about OutSystems. It was the first time when I got to know.
This
is the platform.
And because I noticed, like, obviously, in other countries around the world, OutSystems probably is a lot better known now. But compared to India, when I look at candidates, there are candidates in India who have known OutSystems for a long time. The guys who are working for your Netlinks and Persistence and all that, who've been working for quite a while. So that's why it was interesting to see that you were exposed to it a bit later compared to others.
So I mean, you mentioned about Netlink. So those were, we can say, the first one in India to start. Who started working on OutSystem. And we got started in 2017. But I mean, in last 1.5 year, OutSystem has also getting popular in India also.
Of course.
So more and more developers are coming into the community, learning, doing the certifications, and because obviously there are many job opportunities in OutSystem. So the only way to get popularity in developer community is to show that there are opportunities. Only then the technical person and the developers will learn those new platform and technologies to get that.
Sure. And this year you've taken on a new challenge.
Yes.
With a new company.
So I mean, I was working with Renesas for quite a long time, because I started in 2010 and then this 2021. Before that, I mean, there was a few years gap where I did my startup. So other than that, I was completely involved with and engaged with Renesas. In 2021, I mean, this same year, I changed to a different organization. It is Australia-based InsurTech. So I'm working with them. It's almost more than 2 months, so everything going great.
That's good. That's my home country, Australia. So it's
your home country.
I'm from Sydney, and they're a Sydney company. So is your plans to eventually go there, or?
Right now I'm working remotely, so let's see how it goes. Right now there is no such plan.
Fine. Okay. Well, that's good that they're open to kind of getting you to work remotely. I think if one thing about the pandemic is that it's definitely opened the eyes of a lot of customers that you can get done what you need done.
Right.
And then people doesn't have to be sitting physically in front of you.
yeah, we should not say this, but yeah, there are good things happen due to the pandemic.
Yes.
There are many bad things, but few good things that are
Yeah,
happening.
it's good that there's been at least some positives out of it.
Yeah,
And especially for technology workforce, I think this is a big thing because, now candidates who may have had aspirations to work on international projects or clients who before had the big issue with visas and things like that. That's always going to be difficult. It gives you a bit of hope that you could still work for an international company without having to relocate, which
and
is good.
I think before pandemic, most of these enterprises were also little bit orthodox about having this kind of remote engagement, because I mean every company should thinks that we should have our resources in front of us. So, but now things have changed.
We need to see them physically sitting down, hitting the keyboard in front of us.
But now no one cares. Everyone needs just the work done, and that's it.
How is it because obviously India is very, I'd say I don't know, but I think it's very kind of old school. Everybody goes to the office, works from the office, 9 to 5, whatever. Has the pandemic kind of made even things in India very, remote working?
Yeah, I mean, everywhere. I mean, at least in the IT industry, this is completely remote working. I mean, when pandemic hit, that was a time when companies started, offering completely work from home. Earlier, there was, an optional thing that some days, if someone wants to work remotely somewhere from work from home, that was an option. But after pandemic, it is completely work from home for everyone. So IT industry, I think, was the least hit by the pandemic, and I would say, I mean, IT companies are actually getting benefited because of
I think even with us, obviously, we're a recruitment company, and when the pandemic hit last year, I think in the beginning all the companies got scared, and then by mid of the year, I think everybody learned to kind of deal with things, and they knew that things can just go on. And then we got really busy. We had loads of people saying, I need OutSystems developers, they can be based anywhere in the world. I don't care,
I mean, I remember, I mean, we were in touch, I think, since more than 1 year, right?
Yeah, we were speaking last year as well.
Before that, I know, I mean, whenever you got an opportunity, clients used to ask for on-site opportunities.
I think we were talking for about a year and a half, and the first few times it was all they always wanted you in the country. So it's good that you found something that you're able to work for an international company remotely, which is great. So just going back into kind of you at Renesas, you as .NET, and then you moved on briefly for 2 years. What kind of what made you go back? Was that them saying, look, we want to build a low code practice and we want you to kind of drive it?
So it was like when I did my startup, that was an idea that I wanted to implement, so I left that time. I did that complete product development and moving on to the further phases, marketing and all. We are going good. Then there was another company in the same sector. They came and offered us to take over.
Okay.
So they took over. I worked with them for some time, and then when everything was smooth at their end, I decided to go back to Renesas. So, and because I had very good terms, they were like when the company started, I was one of the team member that time, so it was like a family kind of
you've kind of been through the tough period with the company, so you've got that kind of attachment.
So I mean, as soon as we got in touch again, it was an offer from company that you can join back. I joined them back, and after joining back, then there was they used to do an yearly off-site meeting in the company with their project management office group. So I was with them in Singapore for that meeting. There, I mean, that was a time when we decided to we have to get into the low code, and we should find out which one should be the best platform. So that's how I got back to Renesas, then introduced to OutSystems. Everything was like,
that's crazy. Cool. And so how did that kind of you looked at other platforms. So what kind of made you guys think, okay, this is the one? What was the kind of key things that made you decide, okay, we're going to start off focusing on OutSystems?
Yeah. So because I was evaluating all the platforms, and for evaluating, I was not reading their research papers or documentation, anything. I was actually developing things on these platforms to understand how they, can impact the actual life cycle of the application development, how fast they can make this process. So that time I realized OutSystem is a platform which provides us different applications on different platforms. Like we can do mobile app as well, Android, iOS, both. Then we can do web application. Then later they also introduce the reactive web application, because that nowadays all the users want more interactive application. So when I compared those things to other platforms, we identified that yes, there are better features and features through which we can address most of the use cases for the enterprise customers, especially the mobile application. That was something which was missing for other things. If you talk about Power Apps, that was mobile specific. For web, there was not much to do in Power Apps, and there's otherwise, the different problem was there for Mendix. So at the end we decided to go with OutSystems. And because we were the company is based, headquarters is based in Singapore. We started in engaging with OutSystems team there, and then as it moved forward, we also got the partnership, and
that's great. It's good because usually when I speak to other MVPs, no one's really looked at all the other platforms. They're just all about OutSystems. They haven't really, a lot of them may have started their career. Well, not a lot of them. There's a few that straight from university who have gone straight into OutSystems, and there's others who have gone from .NET or another programming language.
Yeah. So usually what happens is either after college, someone starts a company and they got to work on OutSystems, or there can be that they are on different platform, but for skill enhancements, their company may ask them to go with the different platform. But for me, it was luck that I went through a different channel, because it was a strategic decision for the company, so I got this chance.
And I guess that was good for your experience as well, to go through something like that.
Yeah, definitely. Because now if I have to go back to similar kind of stuff, evaluating platform, I know what's the process, what are the things we should check and
look for.
It really helps.
Yeah, good. And you kind of you're an MVP that came pretty soon after using OutSystems. You didn't really have to wait that long. How did that kind of, it was last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was last year. So basically after 3 years, after I started working on OutSystems, for me also it was, I was not expecting, something for this kind of recognition, but maybe because I was just doing what I like to do. So I started working with developing some small components and contributing on the OutSystems board so that others can use this. And at the same time, for me, other than Forge, the major contribution that I initially did was on the OutSystem forums. And the reason for doing that was in my early days in OutSystems, I used to struggle with getting solution to my problems. I used to post this on somewhere, but if you didn't get the solution, it was quite problematic. I thought, let's start contributing on the forums. So I started in a way, because that time I was not that much experienced in OutSystem. But what I did started doing was get the questions from the forum. Even if I don't know the solution, I used to try those, how we should work on that. Then if I get the solution, so I used to post that solution. And obviously that was also helping me to learn platform
at the same time. Sure.
Yeah, so it was a two-way thing. I was getting benefit from in my learning, and I was also helping others. So that was going very good. I started regularly contributing on the forums. Then also because the same university from where I passed out, we started engaging students there because we definitely, because this is a small city, so we also have a good connection with the universities. Obviously, because I was passed from there. So yeah, we started seminars and discussion with the students. We started webinars and seminars for students also, so that they can learn OutSystems.
Yeah.
That time in India, definitely OutSystem was not that much popular.
Yeah.
So it helped students to get to know about the platform, to learn and explore the opportunities.
Yeah, sure.
So, I mean, those things OutSystem recognizes, and I got
great.
this MVP best quite so.
That's really good. That's really good. And do you find when you went to your university, did you only go to your university or did you go to others as well?
I mean, we went to the university where I was studying. Then we were planning to go to other universities in the nearby areas. We also scheduled few of the seminars, but then the pandemic hit and everything got cancelled.
Sure.
Since then, everything is remote.
Yeah. Do you find much resistance, like people not interested, or do you get a lot of like negative feedback about when you try and promote low code?
In students, there was no resistance. I mean, they were eager to learn because obviously when they see that there is more scope in some platform, they will definitely go for that, because at the end what they want is job opportunities. So obviously there was no resistance from them. I faced resistance when I work with or discuss about low code with the other developers. Like, for example, if someone is .NET developer working on Java or PHP, so those are the cases, because most of the time the confusion that they had is, if we start working on low code, we will forget to code.
Gotcha.
I mean, but that's a misconception. I mean, I have addressed this case to many developers, and that's good that they are now working with OutSystems and they are happy about it.
Yeah. That's great. And did you ever have that kind of when Renesas kind of built their team and put together that OutSystems, were you involved in pitching to customers? And in those processes, were you competing against other technologies which were not low code? And how was that kind of how did the customer take that?
Yeah, so I was involved with the pitching to the client, but that was not on the sales side. That was mostly on the technical side. So whenever we got this kind of RFQ or the tender from any customer, our approach was to, instead of just throwing a number and doing and sending some documents, we used to prepare a POC based on the industry from there that company comes.
Sure.
Through that, I mean, we used to start showing them how I mean, this platform can help their need and can clear their backlogs and give them time to do the innovations in the organization, whatever they want to. And at the same time, that was a platform through which we used to show our capabilities in OutSystems.
Yeah. So it's a good way to kind of show how fast you can deliver things.
Yeah. So I mean, most of the times the customer used to get wow that just in a matter of 2 to 3 days, we got to see what we actually wanted to what we actually wanted to build.
Sure. So, rather than waiting a couple of months. Okay, good. And do the city you're in, is that kind of big in IT, or because I know obviously there's Pune, which is big, there's Bangalore, which is big.
Pune, Bangalore, and Delhi, NCR. So these are the big cities. The specific place where I am, there are not lot of companies. So I'm here because this is my hometown. I thought we have at least some sort of opportunities. That time, I mean, in 2009 and 10, that time even there was only 4 or 5 companies. Mainly, I mean, the companies we can call companies. Otherwise, there were others also. But now there are better opportunities, and if still this city is still not that IT friendly. It's just a small city with some companies.
Fair enough. But and did you go to university in your local city?
Yes.
Oh, so that's good. At least you're trying to create awareness in your hometown of OutSystems, which is good.
Yeah, right. I mean, it really feels good, and that was also one thing through which I feel my connection with the company also, the Renosys, because the CEO and owner of the company is also from the same city. He lives in Singapore though. He lives in Singapore though, but his feeling is also that I should give something back to my city.
Yeah,
so that's the common thing.
That's great. Yeah, that's great. That's really good. And talking about OutSystems, so you've been using it for about nearly 4 years now.
Yeah.
What do you kind of see? How do you see the future with OutSystems and low code?
I think this low code thing has just started, as per my opinion. It's not that it has gone too far. There is a lot more to come in this low code world. Right now, I think this is just the beginning. In future, as you know, these research and analysis organization, Gartner and all, Forrester, they also say there is a lot more to come, and definitely in future, most of the application development will happen in low code. Doesn't matter if it is OutSystem or any other, but yeah. So if you talk about low code, there is no doubt about the future, and OutSystem, I love, so I don't think nothing is going to happen to OutSystem. We'll be working for quite a long time.
Yeah, go for a while. Yeah, cool. And do you find, being in a country which is very tech heavy, when you talk to, other guys that you may just not know personally, or, maybe not since the pandemic, but before, just, in meetings or whatever, is OutSystems quite known? Like, for example, I'll give you like, for example, here in the UK, being a recruiter, we'll sometimes talk to candidates and or a customer, and they look at our website and they say, "What's OutSystems?" It's still it's a lot. It's known a lot better, but we still have a lot of conversations where we're having to explain what it is, sending the website, trying to kind of get them to check it out. Where in India, is it the same, or is it a lot more well known now?
Not lot more known, but yeah, better than before. If we see 1 year back, that was the case where most of the people used to ask what is OutSystem. But nowadays, if I talk to someone, at least 50 to 60% people at least know there is a platform called OutSystem. Maybe they were not they don't know what it actually does, but they have heard the name.
They probably know it more. This kind
of awareness it is happening.
They probably know the term low code more than the actual technology.
Yeah, right. Definitely, low code is more popular.
Yeah, sure. Okay, and one thing I like to kind of ask all the guests is, the main point of this kind of podcast for us was to create awareness, try to get people like yourself who started as .NET or Java or whatever background to consider, learning OutSystems, give it a go. We're trying to obviously grow the developer kind of footprint, because there's developers everywhere, probably still not enough, and there's always a need for more developers. So what's your kind of message to those developers who kind of put their nose up at low code and they're kind of negative towards it?
Yeah, so nowadays most of the times when I talk to other persons, developer from other platforms or technology, there is not much resistance, but still those who are not that much confident about if they should go towards the low code or not, my suggestion would be at least give it a try, because when I started, and even the team members who worked with me when we started OutSystem, I used to tell them that we should not leave our base technology or base expertise that we have. Like I had .NET, so when I started learning OutSystems, I still used to practice my expertise and my work in .NET. So even if you in future, if you feel like no, this platform or thing is not suitable to me, you have somewhere to go back. But I've never seen anyone going back from OutSystems to any other technology. So that's good. That thing I want to suggest to everyone, don't just leave anything, at least give it a try, and you will never regret it.
Amazing. That's a good point to I think end it on. So thanks for your time, Nikhil. It was good to catch up. Maybe let's catch up again in the future, see how maybe in a year's time, see how things are going. Maybe you'll be sitting in Sydney, Australia, who knows where you'll be.
Yeah, probably.
So we can kind of catch up, see how things are going, talk about other things that are going on with OutSystems, low code and other technologies. And, maybe in the future when things improve, we'll meet at the next step or,
next step, yeah,
some
definitely.
kind of event. So
everyone is waiting actually.
Everyone is waiting,
for
yeah.
the in-person meetings in next step.
Yeah. Everyone I speak to, they're like, the virtual one's good, but it's not as good as the one where you can attend. So we're hoping, I think maybe next year will be, if things keep going in the right direction, maybe next year, maybe some with the vaccine, depending on which countries kind of catch up, maybe we can be at one of those events.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Yeah, great. Well, thanks for your time, Nikhil. It was nice talking to you.
Thanks, Firoz. It was nice talking to you.
We'll speak soon. Thank you for listening to the latest episode of the Low Code Podcast, hosted by iTrack, Global OutSystems Recruitment Specialist. Be sure to subscribe and see you next time.